the community. So the workshop was in January 2020. COVID in Canada became very much apparent as an issue by mid-March. And the community was immediately on alert and immediately called us and said, what do we do? This is like tuberculosis, except much worse. We know what happened to us with the Spanish influenza. We lost so many people. We can't afford for this to come in. And as a community, we feel we need to act. We can't depend on the authorities or the government to protect us. We need to protect ourselves. This is a community that's been so vulnerable and so isolated that this reflex of self-protection is extremely strong. So we pivoted to COVID, and what was wonderful was that we saw that the workshops and the other work that were done with the community meant that they were very able to understand the key role that they could play in defending and protecting themselves against COVID, and also active steps that they could take inside their community to make sure that if ever COVID came, they would be able to limit its propagation inside the community. So I think that the community of Clyde River was one of the first communities to have obligatory mask wearing. While we in many countries and many areas are still fighting about whether masks should be mandatory or not, and we have a very patchy application, and we see the impacts of that patchy application in Clyde River by the 1st of April, everyone was already making their own homemade masks, and community members were monitoring to make sure that when they went into public spaces, they were wearing them. On the left, you see how community members were developing kits of food for families inside the community that were even more vulnerable. Either they were elderly or people with diabetes or people who had other comorbidities which would make them more liable to get a serious outcome if they were to become sick from COVID-19. And then the middle photo is preparing disinfection kits so that every house was provided with a disinfection kit so that they could make sure that they kept their houses safe for the people.